invite Dr. Moitri Chakraborty, the Assistant Professor and Head of the Department of Conservation Biology, to introduce our second distinguished speaker, Dr. Nilanjan Das. Over to you, ma'am.
হ্যাঁ এবার অফ করে দিন হ্যাঁ।
Thank you, Morally. Good afternoon to everyone. And thank you, sir, for this outstanding lecture today. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Nilanjan Das, a dedicated researcher specializing in ecological modeling, species interactions, and ecosystem functions. He is currently a postdoctoral researcher at the Ecology and Ecological Informatics Laboratory, Department of Biology, Kyung Hee University, Seoul, Republic of Korea, where his research focuses on structure dynamic ecological modeling, particularly in the areas of greenhouse gas emissions and carbon sequestration within mangrove ecosystems. Dr. Das has earned his PhD in environmental science from the University of Burdwan in January 2025, where his doctoral research provided groundbreaking insights into greenhouse gas emissions and carbon sequestration in mangrove ecosystems. His academic foundation is rooted in zoology, which he pursued in both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. His MSc research focused on ecological dynamics and biodiversity conservation, laying the groundwork for his interdisciplinary approach to environmental science. Dr. Das has made significant contributions to ecological informatics, integrating data-driven models to enhance our understanding ecosystem dynamics. His research has been published in high-impact, peer-reviewed international journals, covering topics such as carbon sequestration and greenhouse gas emissions, species interactions and biodiversity conservation using advanced ecological modeling techniques, sustainable agricultural ecology in drought-prone regions, methane emissions hotspots detection in vulnerable mangrove ecosystems, and urban forest dynamics and carbon balance regulation in industrial areas. His work bridges the fields of environmental science and ecological informatics, introducing innovative model-based approaches that provide valuable insights for policymakers in sustainable environmental management and policy development. His contributions have been recognized through multiple awards and fellowships, including prestigious research grants and postdoctoral fellowships. Dr. Das's expertise continues to shape the future of ecological modeling and environmental sustainability, making him a valuable asset to the scientific community. We are very much privileged to have him with us today, and we look forward to gaining insights from his vast knowledge and pioneering research. So, over to you, sir.
Sir, right.
So, hello, is it audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So, thank you, madam. So, giving addressing me in a better way. So, today I just I am. So it is now it's afternoon, and good afternoon everyone, and respected principal, the departmental head, and the faculty members, research scholars, all the students, and the dignitaries present. I am truly honored to join you today on the occasion of World Environment Day at the Department of Conservation Biology, Durgapur Government College. So this year theme is the our land and our future. So, as I involving in environmental modeling, especially on the greenhouse gas emission and carbon sequestration, and from the mangrove ecosystem or in the wetland ecosystem. So, I believe that the land is not just a resource; it's actually the future, the foundation of our future. So, in this case. If we lose the land, then we lose the capacity of our grow, our to breathe and to survive. So so already today Professor Sobhan Kumar Mukherjee mentioned a lot of information about the plastics effects on plants and their effects and ultimate effect on the human health. And then he also telling about the diversity detailing about the diversity and the value of the diversity. And then he also mentioned the threat of biodiversity and details description of the biodiversity status and the position of of India. And finally they finally he also mentioned about the Wildlife Protection Act and the conservation strategies. So here I would like to share you my some insights from my present research, present, or not the present, it is some current research I already done. So let's begin. So you all Professor Moitzi ma'am already mentioned myself, my name and all the details about that, and here I represent it. So my topic, so today I present my topic. So that is the greenhouse gas emissions for mangrove ecosystem of soil of Sundarban. So here a dynamic and a static modeling approach I mention here. So this work seeks to answer the following questions. So what is the question? The question are, what are the most sensitive natural and anthropogenic parameters influence in GHG emissions? And what will be the future scenario of methane in the Sundarban mangrove ecosystem? So here I present the about the Sundarban mangrove, the location map of the Sundarban mangrove ecosystem, where here I only depicted some picture of the big uh, big fishing port in Sundarban mangrove ecosystem. That is name is the Kakdeep Namkhana and the Fresherganj. The most of the trawler is come here for after collecting the fish, and then it's transported to many places from here. And I also mention here some how to I framed my this work. I also mention here step by steps. So I so here this is the we all know about the greenhouse gas emission. So mainly here I consider the greenhouse gas emission like methane, carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide. So this gas emission emitted from the soil, the mangrove soil system. So how to emit this? So first question is, so there is a this emission is from emitted from through biogeochemical cycles and different biogeochemical processes. So I that is I mentioned here or represented here, that is the defined biogeochemical processes. I mean I this is the arrow line is the biogeochemical processes. So that is what is this? This is the carbon and nitrogen cycle by the process. The these processes are the carbon or nitrogen cycles processes. That is the name is methanogenesis, decomposition, soil microbial respiration, oxidation, denitrification. I only consider here the important process. These processes, rather than these processes, is many other processes also there. So I only consider those processes that is mainly influenced or emitted through these processes, the methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide emissions. So and I consider here the major pollution that is in this port in this port. So in the port region, that is the heavy metals. From the heavy metal, we studied that zinc, cadmium, copper, and lead is the most crucial heavy metals are affect or deposited into the land in the Sundarban land area, and we consider only these four. And then I consider as a microplastics, that is the PET, polyethylene terephthalate, PS, that is the polystyrene, and the PP is the polypropylene. Okay, so and another major waste material is that the fish waste. The lot of fish waste are after collecting from the fish trawler. They many waste of fish they deposited into that port region. So and many methane gas is also emitted through these decomposition processes. So here and how and these anthropogenic factors like heavy metals, fish waste, and the microplastics, how they affect on the defined processes. I also just represented here, and then I go to the next things. Here I just represent a conceptual dynamic model of the methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide emission. Here here not all the parameters I included, only the anthropogenic parameters and the environmental variables I all represented in this figure, that is effect on the defined anthropogenic, that is defined biogeochemical processes, they affect on the biogeochemical processes, and how to emit the methane emission, carbon dioxide emission, and nitrous oxide emission. And so before the model, I need to we actually need to make some made some equation based on the this dynamic concepts. So here the equations I represented. So differential equation of CO2 emission, and their and the differential equation of methane emission, and also the for the nitrous oxide emission. Uh, So to fulfill the model, there is needs much rate parameters. So these parameters is very difficult to collect from directly from field, which that's why we some are collected from different authors suggested reference published articles, and some are we are collected from the observed from the field directly, and some are maybe calibrated if no some data is available. So here is no here is some only two things are calibrated, parameter is calibrated. So rather than the parameters, we also regular basis we collect some factors like soil temperature, soil pH, soil porosity, and the soil and the total fish waste. We collect directly from the field, from the Sundarban mangrove ecosystem, and their data is represented uh, in the arrow. After that, to fulfill the model needs, we analyze the metagenomic genome metagenomic analysis. So from where some microbial population we are consider, that is the important for the methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide emission. So here we only methanogenic microbial population, heavy heterotropic microbial population, denitrifying microbial population, nitrifying, and oxidative microbial population we consider for the methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide emission. And next the I already said that we only consider the different metals like zinc, cadmium, copper, and lead. These four heavy metals content I also consider for this study, and the values is also represented in different ports. And the microplastics content I also collected from the field, and their data is also represented here. And after the model fit, then we actually run the model, and after the model run, we
Sir, can you hear us? No, sir, it's not audible.
আওয়াজ চলে গেছে না আমার আওয়াজ আসছে না?
উনি স্টপ
Sir,
করলেন,
technical
ওনার
glitches.
গলাগুলো শোনা যাচ্ছিল না।
He will be joining soon.
নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যু মনে হয়। তো উনি তো নিশ্চয়ই কোরিয়াতে আছে। কতটা পিছিয়ে উনি আমাদের থেকে, না এগিয়ে?
Oh, hello. I will
Yes,
listen.
yes, yeah, yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is actually the some problems there in my computer. That's why. So now, so next is the defined natural factors considered for this model, and defined parameters is also considered. Then the soil microbial bacteria is considered for this for the modeling, and the heavy metals and microplastics also already told I considered their data. And next, the sensitivity analysis we found from the model. So based on that, the for the methane and carbon dioxide emission, there are we considered the major five the anthropogenic factor that is mostly influence on the methane and carbon dioxide emission and the nitrous oxide emission. So we considered this, and if the this factor is fluctuated at plus minus 10% level, then how the methane and carbon dioxide emitted is fluctuated, we just consider here. And then after the model run, the model calibration and validation for the for the data of for the 2 years data model calibrated and the model validated, where we found that the observed data and the simulated data is very close, and after that we just some model performance analysis was done. Based on that we found that there is no significant difference between the observed data and the simulated data. So that's why we call the model is very good predictor, and where the model performance analysis like um, mean square error, root mean square error, mean square log error, and the mean absolute error I consider for this model performance. Then finally, I just a scenario analysis was done where we just planned that if the fish waste and the heavy metals and the microplastics like anthropogenic factors is fluctuated in future. So if the fluctuation is double, then how methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide is fluctuated in future. And if we control the anthropogenic parameter, then if we are actually decreasing the methane and carbon dioxide, like heavy metals and microplastics and the all the things like anthropogenic factors is decreasing in future, then how methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide is fluctuated, I represented here. So from this study, the conclusion part is that the system sensitive parameter for CO2 emission from the mangrove ecosystem is the impact rate of heavy metal on microbial respiration process and impact rate of microplastics on the microbial respiration process. So for the CO2 emission, this is the crucial process is the microbial respiration process, and the factor is the rate of heavy metals and the microplastics. If we control this, and then the emission of the CO2 will be decreases. So next, the system sensitive anthropogenic parameters for the methane emission, that is the impact rate of heavy metals on methanogenesis process and the rate of impact rate of microplastics on the methanogenesis process. So here the methanogenesis process is the main influencing of the methane emission, where the the rate is the heavy metals and the microplastics. And another sensitive parameter for the N2 emission, that is the nitrous oxide diffusion rate. So if in future the methane emission, the microplastics, heavy metals, and the fish waste content we reduce in future, if no heavy metals, microplastics, and the heavy metals placed into the future, then and methane emission is decreasing about 43.5%, 56%, and 37%. And if this is double, and this anthropogenic parameter is double in future, then the methane emission increase at 43.5%, 56%, and 20%, 20.1% for the fish waste, heavy metals, and the microplastics case. So this model present here will be helpful in calculating the possible of global warming, as well as the amount of carbon emissions from the harbor region on a global scale. So here some limitation is also there in this study, that is the oil spill we don't consider, because it is very difficult to the estimate this, and that's why if in our future study we consider the oil spill and then how its effect on the GHG emission, the emission is different maybe. So next chapter is so from this study, we found that methane is the most crucial to fluctuate if we fluctuate, if the heavy metals, microplastic, and the fish waste is fluctuated a little bit. So next study is the temperature. So here only I consider the methane emission. So this is the very crucial emission from the mangrove bed. And then here we consider the two models, that is the PBS, the process-based spatio-temporal model, and another is the artificial neural network model. So from this model, for the model, I used actually the environmental variables and the observed methane flux, and then we run the model so for the methane flux and estimate the methane emission. And in future, for the future estimation of methane emission, we actually developed the GCM model. So that is the based on the temperature simulation in 2016 and in the year of 100. So this is the schematic methodology or step-by-step methodology of how to I collect data and how the model run and all the things is represented here. And they are how to collect the gas samples from the field a step-by-step process is also there. A enclosed box is placed into the mangrove soil. Then we wait for 1 hour, for several hours, and collect the gas from a gas tight seal from the mangrove bed, and then put it into the Tedlar bag, and this bag is transferred to the lab for the analysis of methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide. So here is also a developed equation is also I represented here, and for this study I considered the defined land cover classes like mangrove cover, agricultural land, settlement, water body, and the barren land. So for the artificial neural network model and the process-based socio-temporal model, we consider some defined parameters, or some defined parameters for special and their special distribution map also I represented here. That is, and the land use land cover classes, land surface temperature, temperature factor, productivity factor, precipitation by evaporation ratio, and the observed methane flux for the pre-monsoon and the post-monsoon season. Here I also represent after the model feed the model, and then after the model run, we this is the output of the PBS and ANN models. This one is the for the PBS output of the PBS model, and below is towards the output of the ANN model for the pre-monsoon and post-monsoon season, and there the detailed output are also represented into the table. This is the structural view of the artificial neural network model, and then where we are what we found that is the major important most important factor for the emission of methane, that is the temperature factor, and details all the factor importance are also represented into the table. So to check the model it is good or not, or for the check the performance, we AUC values of ROC curve we also made. That is where we found that PBS model and the AUC value is more higher than the ANN model. So the PBS model is the better predictive for the methane emission. So after that, a correlation analysis was done based on all the variables I considered for the model, and also the observed methane emission and estimated and predicted methane emission. So where we also found the land surface temperature is the crucial correlated with the methane emission. So from here we are temperature is we saw that the temperature is the main crucial factor for the methane emission, and based on that we collect the historical and future temperature simulation data that is available in different web portals, and we collect and this is the data of the 1960 in the previous historical temperature data, and also collect the future 2060 and 2100 in the year of 2100 the temperature simulation data for the future emission of the methane emission. So after the in the previous model we feed the defined temperature data on the historical and the future period. So after the model run, then it is the output of the methane emission from the mangrove ecosystem. And detailed results are also represented here. Defined scenarios in future scenario, like is SSP 126, 245, 370, and 585 for the pre-monsoon and the post-monsoon season. And from this study, we found that the temperature factor and the agriculture land use, including coastal aquaculture of the island, play a vital role in emission of methane in the Sundarban. The temperature factor and land surface temperature of the Sundarban were positively correlated, I already mentioned, and human encouragement with the continued use of fertilizer in the agricultural field in the reclaimed part, that is the Sagar Island path. With different islands, we found that the Sundarban and coastal aquaculture is the land use land cover for methane emission of the Sundarban. The PBS is a more valuable approach for estimating methane emission than the ANN based on the ABC of ROC values. According to future prediction, the average rise of temperature in Sundarban is change in methane emission will increases 8.58 to 11.62% for the year of 2016 and 11.98 to 15.35% for the year of 2100 under the series of defined GCM scenarios. Okay, this present result will help to develop the mangrove conservation plan. Here is also the limitation on this study, that is we only consider the collected the gas for the daytime but not consider in the night time. So okay, so if future, if I incorporate it into the methane emission in regular in a day, a regular basis in a day, so then the methane emission will the accuracy of the methane emission from the mangrove soil is very good and also more acceptable. So among the all of this, so the anthropogenic main anthropogenic parameters is the fish waste, microplastics, and heavy metals. So how to remove this? So it is not possible to go to waste some management this the control of the fish oil, microplastics, and heavy metals by control is controlled by some defined management tools, that is the SDG goal. We already all know that the SDG have the 17 SDG goal we already mentioned, that is the we achieved the in 2030 sustainable development and society. So based on that, this SDG goal have defined, for each SDG goal there are defined policies is there. If we manage, if we use these policies, if we use these policies and then follow the steps of the SDG goal, then we actually remove this waste content and make a sustainable environment. Okay, so here the defined for the fish waste we consider for the SDG 7, 9, 14, and 8, and for microplastics this is the SDG 13, 17, 8, and 13, and also for the heavy metals the SDG goal is 6, 12, 9, 8, and 14 for proper management. So thank you, and here is my this two work is published in recently last 1 or 2 years. So in the prestigious journal, this is the Science of the Total Environment, and the associated work and also already published in different another prestigious journals. Okay, so thank you. So first of all, I would like to convey my cordial gratefulness to Principal of the Durgapur Government College, Head and other Professor of the Department of Conservation Biology, and also the coordinator of this event management. Okay, so this is my Korean lab members and the professor, and thanks for the attention.
Thank you, Dr. Das, for your engaging and thought-provoking talk. We now invite our audience again to participate in the discussion. If you have any question or comments, kindly post them in the chat or unmute yourselves to speak directly. Any questions is there?
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
I
yes.
have a query basically. So for your spatial maps that you have presented for that LULC maps, so what was the approach there for collecting, because those were collected data, if I am not very wrong, because for having those kind of models the historic data are very important. So I think those were collected. So how did you correlate those with your collected data? Was there any significant difference between the two?
Okay, so so as you say, the land use land cover data, that is we consider that it is actually the two step. First one is I use land use land cover by using different satellite data. Based on the satellite data, first I just I estimate the land use land cover data, land cover classes. I define say the land use land cover classes, but in the land use land cover classes, there are many land use land cover classes is also the information of the defined land cover classes also information are represented or have into the satellite map. But we don't consider all the things. We actually manage to to simplify my work, it is simplified that this is the cropland, this is the water bodies and all the things, and it is I collect the satellite image for the two seasons, for the pre-monsoon time and the post-monsoon time, and based on that we can calculate the land use land cover map by using the GIS software. But it is not enough for that. The land use, after the land use land cover map preparation, you need to go into the field. Okay, so is this is the same or not? Is the when I mapped into the my computer, there is, so for land use land cover classes, for the preparation of land use land cover classes. So you must need to validation is must need. So ground truth validation is must need after the prepare of the land use land cover classes. So first I mapped the land use land cover map, then I visited the places, and you see that this is the this is the wetland. Yes, this is the wetland, and also shows into the wetland into the map. So that is the good. So if we in this way we prepare the land use land cover course, uh, that is the actually more acceptable. But it is actually possible if you consider the small region. But if you consider the very large region, that is the global perspective, you work in global perspective, then it is not possible so to collect the ground truth validation. So this is the actually think, I hope you understand. So ground truth validation is crucial.
Yeah, so what if what would have been your approach if you would have found that the collected data is varying with with the data of sampling data? So what would be your approach then?
So data means as you said, the greenhouse gas data or the others.
No, the spatial maps. I'm just considering the LULC map where you
Mhm.
have used historic data.
Mhm.
So after that, for validation, you are collecting the field data, and you are
For
validating the model.
for the historic data, I don't consider the land use land cover.
Okay, for that only you are
I only
considering the
consider the
historic.
temperature. Only consider the temperature for the
Okay,
historic. Mhm.
okay. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Mhm. Because the land use land cover map and the future historic land use land cover map is possible to collect or data is also available, but in for the future it is not possible now. This time is not possible to collect the future land use land cover
No,
classes.
no,
It is
that is what you are predicting for. You are
yeah, yeah.
collecting the historic data and you are
Mm,
validating it, and
validate.
accordingly
Oh,
you are
only this
predicting
is
the
yes,
future.
yes, yes. This is only for the
Hmm.
greenhouse gas emission. We only consider the greenhouse gas emission. I only consider and these things. But for the land use land cover, I don't predict the land use land cover or and all the things. Only I consider the temperature data. There are another parameters is also the remain stable. Is not I change that. So
Okay,
from my
so
studies.
mostly you have collected all the field data mostly for your
Mm,
work. Only
mm.
for a single or two parameters only you have collected the data, historic data. Okay.
Historic data, because first after the model run we found the which one is the most sensitive for the methane emission, and to found that temperature is the most sensitive, and that's why I consider only the temperature to validate. If the temperature validate in this type of in future, then the methane emission that is like. But another parameter is also in the stable condition.
Okay.
uh,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any more questions? Okay. I think there is no more questions. So thank you, Dr. Das, for addressing questions so insightfully. Now, mm,
Thank you very much. And so just sorry for the problem in the computer. I actually have some difficulties in my computer. That's why the middle of my presentation is hampered. So sorry for that.
Oh, it's okay, no problem. Now, to conclude our event, it is important to acknowledge and express our gratitude to those who made this expert talk possible. I now invite Dr. Tapojit Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor of Conservation Biology, Durgapur Government College, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Morally. Good afternoon to one and all who is present here with us for this online expert talk on Our Land, Our Future to commemorate the World Environment Day 2025. On behalf of Durgapur Government College, its entire fraternity and the organizing committee, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. We express our sincere gratitude to our respected principal, Durgapur Government College, and patron of this event, Dr. Devnath Palit, for his constant encouragement and extending every possible help to organize this event and to spare time to be here with us for giving the welcome speech of this event. We extend our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to our wonderful speakers of the day, Professor Shobhan Kumar Mukherjee and Dr. Nilanjan Das, for accepting our invitation and to spare some time to be here with us for this expert talk event. I believe that they have enriched our participants by their excellent presentations and deliberations. We are extremely thankful to them. We are also thankful to the coordinator IQAC and President IIC Durgapur Government College, who have always extended her constant support and encouragement to organize this event. We are utmost thankful to all the participants, students, scholars, and dignitaries, without whom this event would not have been a success. I sincerely thank all the members of the organizing committee for enthusiastically organizing this event. Once again, I thank one and all wholeheartedly. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and gratitude. Your efforts in organizing this session are truly commendable. Now, coming to the end, and before we end today's session, I would like to remind all participants to fill out the feedback form to receive their participation certificates. The link has been shared in the chat box, so please ensure you complete it before leaving. On behalf of organizers, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers, faculty members, and participants for making this event a success. Let us continue working towards a sustainable future for our planet. Thank you everyone. Have a great day ahead.